Hello and welcome. In this video, I'll be talking about some of the bosses and potential enemies that I think would go very well in Grounded 2. But before that, we have already hit our goal of 200 subscribers before Grounded 2. We hit it in like a day and a half. So, make sure to smash that subscribe button and leave a like, leave a comment. I enjoy reading them. Maybe we can hit 300 or even 400 before Grounded 2 comes out. You guys have been absolutely blowing up the channel relative to how I was doing beforehand. Anyway, we also now have a Discord server. It'll be linked in the channel description, so feel free to drop by if you want to. I'll probably be doing some sort of community gaming sessions eventually, if enough people are interested. So if you want to do some Grounded gameplay with me, then join the Discord server. And without further ado, let's get into the boss discussion section. So, the first ones I mentioned in the previous video, which is Centipede, Trapdoor Spider, Crow, and Lizard. Crow is like an optional ultra boss. That would be like the any radiance of Grounded. Centipede, because disgusting giant bug fits well with Grounded. It'd be like you'd have to follow Tremors underground instead of just summoning it. And you'd have to unearth it and track it down. Trapdoor Spider, surprise boss. Horrifying for the arachnophobic community. And the Lizard, which is a cut boss from Grounded 1, would do pretty good in Grounded 2, because now, in Grounded 1, the reason they didn't add it is apparently it felt just cramped and shoved in there for not much reason. So, now that the map is 3 times the size, we could potentially even have 3 times the number of bosses, and it would fit well. A Lizard would be a nice addition. And now, I have a full list here that I've written down of just random bugs that would be sick as bosses. The first one is a Grasshopper. So, if it's a big Grasshopper, it would be massive compared to the player. It'd be just huge. And for an actual boss concept, incredibly fast and hard to hit. And to counteract it, it would be probably not have as much health as other bosses, or not have as much armor or something like that, because it would just be so incredibly fast. And then there is the Tarantula, which has been confirmed as a boss, or an enemy, probably a boss. And so, having a Tarantula... Oh, there's a raw silence over there. Having a Tarantula kind of leads itself to having a Tarantula Hawk. Now, if you don't know what that is, Google it. It's horrifying. It's a giant wasp that hunts tarantulas. And the reason it's called Tarantula Hawk is it hunts it like a bird of prey, which is terrifying to think about. And so, the boss concept could be like almost how in Hollow Knight, how you have to fight the Radiance by first fighting the Hollow Knight. And then once that gets low enough, you can fight the Radiance. Sorry if I just spoiled that game. I only just realized that was a spoiler. Anyway. Once you get the Tarantula low health, the Tarantula Hawk could come in. And then it would be an even harder fight afterwards. And it would be a huge, huge wasp. Like, significantly larger than the Wasp Queen. And so, it'd be a very, very challenging fight. Especially for players who are unaware that there's a second boss fight. I guess you'd have to make it optional, because you do have to be able to kill the Tarantula by itself. And next is the X-Wasp, or the Executioner Wasp. You may notice a theme of... How the hell did you get up here? What? What? I've never seen that. Sorry for just randomly changing subject, but that is incredibly random. I didn't even know they could jump that high. Anyway, X-Wasp. You'll notice a trend of a lot of these bugs that I'll mention have been featured on the Brave Wilderness channel, because I am a fan of that channel, and most of the insects in that channel would be very good fits for Grounded. So the X-Wasp is, as far as I know, the most painful sting in the entire animal kingdom. It's never been officially rated, but from Coyote Peterson, who took the sting, he says it's way, way worse than the bullet ant, which was the previous first place. It's like significantly, like many times worse than the bullet ant. So it would be a sick boss to fight the most painful insect on the planet. And it would also be terrifying because the way the X-Wasp, or the Executioner Wasp, hunts, the way it gets its name as well, is it swoops down and decapitates its prey, like an executioner, which is terrifying and would be so cool to fight. So I hope they do something like that. An X-Wasp would be sick. Hello. I'm just gonna be leaving. You don't need to attack me, buddy. Okay, are we good? We chill, man? Yeah, we're chill. Okay, next. The bullet ant. Okay, I just mentioned the bullet ant. And so, bullet ant, very large and powerful ant. And when it stings you, it feels like you've been shot by a bullet. That's, I think, where it gets its name. Either that or it's like the size of a bullet. I can't remember. It's a large ant, very, very painful sting. Pretty big boss, and pretty cool boss. Especially if it's like a bullet ant soldier. Goliath beetle, rhino beetle, or Hercules beetle, any of those sort of bosses. It would be incredibly large. We're talking probably biggest boss ever featured in the entire game, like biggest insect by a long shot. And it would sort of lean into the fighting mechanics of when you're fighting a rhino beetle, or not, black ox beetle. Same thing, very, very similar. So it'd be like a supersized black ox beetle, if it was something like the Hercules beetle, and it would do like charging. It'd be like fighting a giant rhino. So it'd be incredibly, incredibly tanky, hit like a truck, but be really slow, and have easy to gauge telemetry, so you're either able to block, or if it's, say, like a heavy attack that it's too powerful to block, you have to dash out of the way, because there's now dashing, which is sick. There's a lot of interesting concepts for the dashing that could be like unblockable attacks that wouldn't be annoying like it would be in Grounded 1, because you can dash out of the way. Next is a Weaver Ant Queen. So Weaver Ants are actually a faction of ants that I'd really like to see in Grounded 2. Because they would be living like in the oak tree, because I believe there is still an oak tree in Grounded 2. So you'd have to get like up near the top of the oak tree, and they'd be living in the leaves, building their own like castle basically. And so the Weaver Ant Queen would be over like a suspended drop, and so the fight would be like really high up, which would be interesting. So there's a risk of being thrown off, which would be a very cool fight. Next is a giant cockroach. There's regular cockroaches in the game, so this one's pretty self-explanatory. Like a flippin' 18-wheeler sized bug that travels about that fast. It would do like charge attacks, I guess, and you'd have to dodge out of the way. What's next? Atlas moth. Any sort of very, very large moth. It could be like you see it in the distance, like the crow you see around the place, and then when you get to it, it doesn't attack you straight away. It's like a regular moth. You have to attack it first, and then it fights back. But it would be very large and create dust clouds and stuff. It'd be really sick. And a water scorpion as well. Another thing that was featured on Brave Wilderness. Disgusting bug. Look it up if you want to. I wouldn't recommend it. It's horrifying. And it would be a underwater boss, or like a water surface boss, I guess. Honestly, it'd be a cool boss, but I don't want it. That's one where I put my foot down. It's just too disgusting. Any sort of water insect, I don't know why, I just find them particularly disgusting in comparison to other insects. So, water scorpion, cool. Honestly, I don't want it. It's too disgusting. I guess you could also do any sort of just like ant queen, or like larger queen variation of pretty much any other insect. Like bee queen would be cool, kind of like the wasp queen, but a bee. I don't know. I guess any other sort of ant queen boss if they added more ant factions, would you call it? Species. And just larger versions of other factions of insects. Also, another one that could be cool is a golden Orb Weaver. So that we have the Orb Weaver spiders, but I don't know if it's like only in Australia, but we have the Orb Weavers we have in Australia, to just add to the reasons why we need Australian bugs, which, in my opinion, we don't. They're horrifying. But the golden Orb Weavers we have in Australia are huge. They're way bigger than the Orb Weavers in Grounded. They're absolutely massive, and their silk and their webs are actually golden. That's where they get the name. They have a beautiful golden silk, which is very strong. Like, if I've taken a web almost to the face before, walked through it, and it was like a net around my face. It was actually it was like my shoulder, not quite my face. Otherwise, I would have like cried myself to sleep that night. That would have been terrifying. But they have incredibly strong and very nice looking webs. Where is this milk molar? How have I not gotten this? So it'd be like you can fight the boss and then you get its webs to make some sort of very strong bowstring. I guess you could do like a really heavy draw weight bow for like better power attacks would be sick. That sort of thing. And you could also do some sort of net, I guess you could, for like catching gnats, say. Just popped it into my head because there's a gnat there. Excuse me. There's a whole heap of really cool boss ideas I could go into it. There's just too many to pick from. But I think Golden Orb Weaver would be a really cool concept, just for the uniqueness of their web. So, if you have any other ideas of bugs in general, or just bosses you would like to see in Grounded, make sure to leave them down below. I might make a second video talking about some of your comments if they inspire me. And if you enjoy it, don't forget to like and subscribe. See if we can hit 400 subscribers before Grounded 2 comes out. And I'll see you in the next one. See ya.